The story began in Colombia amidst the assassination of a mafia boss. The police surrounded the hotel, looking for solo travelers to search and arrest. Two solo travelers, John and Jane, pretended to know each other and claimed to be together to avoid being questioned. They then left the hotel together. At their initial interactions, John introduced himself as a construction executive, while Jane told him she worked in tech support. The next morning, Jane woke up in a strange place, only to find that the stranger from last night had prepared a delicious breakfast. They fell in love after the first few meetings and decided to get married. It's now 5 years into their marriage, and both are fed up with the marriage. They barely talk to each other and occasionally try to initiate conversations, but most of them end in just a few minutes, as neither of them is ready to discuss anything. Every morning at 7 o'clock, they leave the house together. Even the path by their door could spark a conflict. Every evening, Jane would arrive home first and, as usual, cook a table full of dishes. John would reverse the car into the garage and then put on his wedding ring. They seemed very loving, but underlying tensions continually emerged. At night, they would each read the newspaper in bed, gradually talking less and less. One day, Jane, dressed in a black trench coat, leaves the house for work. John, who was also getting ready, reminded her of the invite to their neighbor's house for dinner. Jane assured him she wouldn't be late. They both leave the house. Jane goes to the hotel while John heads to the bar. Jane is escorted by bodyguards to a luxurious room. She meets a man called Marco, and she begins to undress. She then ties him up and begins to seduce him, but ends up killing him. She dresses up and makes her escape just as she is about to be caught. She is able to jump from the building with the help of her handbag. She jumps into a taxi and heads home. John, on the other hand, made his way to the casino inside the bar. He enters the room where a game is one player short. The three men intended to send him away, claiming the spot was taken, but John managed to convince them to allow him to play. They played for a while until the bodyguard came to announce that the person who was supposed to be playing cards had arrived. John quickly shoots him and shoots the other players. It is revealed that they all have a secret place where they hide their weapons. John has his own in the basement of their garage. Jane's own is in her kitchen. The dishwasher was not just a dishwasher, but also her secret arsenal, stocked with pistols and daggers. John later goes to the office and is given a mission to eliminate DIA prisoner Benjamin Dans. He is held by military intelligence and is to be transferred to a federal prison across the border. On the other hand, Jane gets to the office and is also tasked to eliminate the same man. As Benjamin Dans was being escorted, Jane was ready at her shooting position. She had set up explosives on the convoy's route and decided to blow up the cars as they crossed the secret point she had set. Before she could activate the explosives, a jeep appeared. It was John, who was also there to execute his task. She tried to identify him with her binoculars, but she couldn't recognize the face and thought it was a civilian. Soon she realized he was armed and planning to attack them, so she shot at him, but missed. John then took his bazooka and launched it at the cabin where Jane was hiding, destroying everything inside. The explosives Jane had planned then detonated at the wrong time, missing their target. Jane fled the scene on her bike, while John checked the debris but couldn't find anything other than the remains of a laptop. John met his friend Eddie and told him that a girl had destroyed his mission. On the other side, Jane got angry with the stranger who messed up her plan. She received a call from her boss, asking her to find him in 48 hours. Otherwise, she might lose her position. Meanwhile, John got the laptop checked and found an address to a building in New York. He arrived at the building but found no one could enter without going through security. As he stood there thinking of a plan, he came across a label revealing it was Jane's office, and she was not what she pretended to be. Jane also found the truth about him after watching a videotape of the incident. He then called her to find out if there was anything unusual, but she did not disclose anything. After arriving at the house at night, he put on his ring as usual and entered the house. Jane served him water, but out of fear, he secretly disposed of it. Jane went to the kitchen, and John sneakily hid the dinner knife in his shirt. Both became suspicious of each other and stayed alert while starting their dinner. They asked about each other's work, but both revealed they had been having some problems at the moment but would sort it out soon. Both were alarmed by each other's intentions, thinking the other was on a mission to kill them. John picked up the wine bottle and poured Jane a full glass of fine wine. He then dropped the bottle, but Jane skillfully caught it, revealing she was not an ordinary person. They both left the table to grab a towel. John instead picked up a handgun, while Jane had already sped away in her car. John Smith quickly followed. Anxious, John accidentally fired a bullet, hitting Jane's windshield. That angered Jane even more, so she tried to run him over, but he saved himself by jumping on the car. Realizing he might take the lead, she left the car, and it broke down after crashing into the fence. John Smith sought solace with his friend Eddie. He discussed the situation with him and told him that he did not trust Jane at all because if she lied about her job, she must have lied about everything else. He suspected maybe she was on a mission to expose him, which she finally did. Meanwhile, Jane also told her friend about him, and she suggested killing him. That night, they were both in agony. John lay in his friend's bed, unable to sleep. The next morning, Jane, along with her team, turned their house upside down. She felt mixed emotions as she watched a colleague tear up her doll and looked at her wedding photos before driving them away. John didn't go straight home, but called over his neighbor, who had always wanted to visit, not knowing he was now John's shield. John Smith went to his garage and into the known basement, finding all his guns, ammunition, and assets gone. Jane had her subordinates dig into John's background, but at that moment, John arrived at her company's building and found out she was already looking for him. As they spoke, intruders reached the rooftop, forcing them to initiate their evacuation plan. The women blew up documents, deleted hard drives and systems, and equipped their escape gear, then blew up one window after another. Several spears were fired at the building opposite, and they zip-lined down, while John Smith approached through a secret passage. As Jane was about to leave, John reached her secret office location, but he was too late. Jane Smith had already reached the rooftop opposite. John picked up the destroyed equipment from her office and started looking for clues, while Eddie asked him to kill Jane. John found a lead about Jane and her team and decided to raid that place. He arrived at their building and tried to go up through the elevator, but found out Jane was a step ahead of him and had already disabled it. He called her, but she warned him to leave town. Otherwise, she would blow up the elevator, but he provoked her to go on. As they were speaking, she pressed the detonator, and the elevator instantly exploded, turning the surveillance feed to black and white. The elevator was in free fall, then exploded violently upon hitting the ground. Jane Smith rushed out of their office, her husband of 6 years presumably dead. At that moment, John Smith felt a chill in his heart, pondering deeply if his wife truly intended to kill him. But Jane Smith wasn't having an easy time either. She went to the restaurant where John Smith had proposed to her, tears streaming down her face. Just then, a gentleman appeared and poured her a drink. She knew it had to be John. This time, it wasn't for a proposal, but for a divorce. Both again threatened to kill each other, but he invited her to dance with him. While dancing, both disarm each other and realize they are just cover stories for their significant other. Jane got upset about it and left the room, but John knew she must be up to something. Jane Smith ran out of the women's restroom, which then exploded. The scene instantly turned chaotic, and Jane took the opportunity to slip away. After getting out, a man informed John that something was ticking on him, and he found out she had left a bomb inside his pocket, which he threw away right before it exploded. John stole a car and went after her. He called her and threatened to kill her, just like she tried to, but she did not take it seriously. As John knew about her profession now, he wanted to confirm whether she loved him or not. He proclaimed his love for her, but she told him he was just a cover for her. Both arrived at the house at the same time, but she overtook him and locked the doors. After going around the house and hiding from her, he finally managed to get inside through the back door and pulled out his gun from his secret locker. Both attacked each other and started a nasty fight. Jane shot the gas cylinder John had disassembled, setting the kitchen on fire and destroying the entire house. Both came face to face with guns pointing at each other. She asked him to shoot, but he lowered his gun, realizing that he could not shoot her. Both rekindled their love and shared a kiss before being interrupted by neighbors, who showed up at the door asking what happened inside, but John sent them away. Both revealed secrets they hadn't told each other yet. They drank juice from a half-broken glass and had breakfast on the only clean spot left. While they talked, a smoke grenade was thrown into the room. They both rushed to hide in a safe place. While preparing the counterattack, he told her he was given 48 hours to kill her, and she told him the same. They realized they had been attacked by their respective companies. A robot approached them and dropped a bomb. John threw it away, but it got under a fuel tank and blew up the entire house. While they managed to escape right in time, they got up again, spotted their neighbor's minivan, and escaped in it. While driving away, John shared more secrets and told her he never went to MIT as he had told her, but did a major in history. He also revealed he never liked her cooking, but she confessed she never cooked and hired someone else to do it. Soon they realized they were being followed in 3 sedans sent by the companies. Jane initially tried to fight against them, but asked him to switch places with her and execute a counterattack. John Smith mentioned he had been married once, causing Jane to slam on the brakes. The man climbed out of the sunroof. John picked up a golf club, pulled the pin from his grenade, and urged his wife to speed up, taking care of the car just like that. They continued to reveal their secrets and criticize each other's fighting tactics. Jane Smith swerved, causing the van to drift and turn around. Then, taking up her gun, she took out the second and third cars, eliminating 2 enemy vehicles just like that. They met with Eddie and discussed the current situation, revealing that they were being attacked by someone. He told them their companies were trying to get them down, so they must split their ways or find another way out. To preserve their marriage, Mr. and Mrs. Smith decide to kidnap Benjamin and use him to make a bargain with their respective companies. She got the information about Benjamin, that he was being held under high security, and they decided to get him out. John went inside while Jane assisted him from outside the building, and they succeeded in abducting him from custody. Smith questioned him, asking why both companies wanted him dead. He revealed that both companies found out they were married, so they jointly hired him to kill them because 2 competing agents cannot live under the same roof, as it's against their interests. They realized Benjamin was just a bait to make them fight and kill each other. John pulled out Benjamin Danz's belt and found a tracker in it. The enemy was 2 minutes away with helicopters and luxury off-road vehicles. Dozens of fully equipped squads stormed into the hotel. They only saw the bait, Benjamin Danz, but not a trace of the couple. Jane Smith thought their chances of survival would be greater if they split up. They decided to fight together against them, as John thought if they ran now, they would be running forever. They sneaked into a mall but were spotted by the enemy's drones. They got dressed in model suits and night vision goggles. As a group of enemies approached, Jane whirled her throwing knives, nearly all fatal, with a few intentionally missed. Finally, gunfire erupted, and they rushed into an elevator, ready for what came next. Jane apologized for the knife incident, but John didn't want to talk. They exited the elevator on another floor, with John charging ahead and Jane sniping from a high point until she was spotted. John Smith's face turned red. He wouldn't allow his wife to be shot at. They readied their weapons and burst through the door for the final showdown. Back to back, they dodged bullets and grenades. They stood face to face, extended their arms, then turned to stand back to back. Bullets and explosions missed them by inches, but they hit one enemy after another. In the end, only the 2 of them remained victorious. Afterward, they redecorated their house and continued to live happily ever after.